Have you ever found yourself going out of your way to help someone only to end up feeling taken for granted? It's a common experience for those of us with a generous nature. We pour our time and energy into others, but instead of feeling fulfilled, we're left drained and unappreciated. If this resonates with you, know that you're not alone. As kind-hearted individuals, our default mode is often to jump in and try to solve everyone's problems. But there's a shadow side to this impulse that we ignore at our own risk. That's why I've decided to make this video to share with you the powerful lessons of Stoicism and its ancient wisdom, and how you can use it to avoid being taken advantage of. In this video, we'll explore 11 Stoic principles for sustainable service, including how to set boundaries with compassion and sidestep the pitfalls of people-pleasing. Don't forget to stay till the very end if you want to truly absorb these lessons in ancient wisdom, and thank you all for watching. Number 1. Being taken advantage of. When you consistently offer help and support to others, some people may start to exploit your kindness and generosity. They might begin to expect your assistance as a given, rather than appreciating it as a thoughtful gesture. These individuals may continuously take more than they give in return, draining your energy and resources without offering reciprocal support. It's important to recognize when a relationship becomes one-sided and to set healthy boundaries to protect yourself from being taken for granted or manipulated. As Stoic philosopher Seneca warned, "He who does a kindness to an ungrateful person sets his seal to a flint and sows his seed upon the sand. On the former he makes no impression, and from the latter finds no product." The Stoics believed in helping others, but also in maintaining a realistic view of human nature. They understood that not everyone will appreciate or reciprocate your efforts. Epictetus advised, "When you do someone a favor, do not expect anything in return. If you do, you will be disappointed." Focus on giving for the sake of virtue and living according to your values, rather than expecting gratitude or reciprocity. At the same time, be discerning about who you help and to what extent. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be not unwilling in what thou doest, neither selfish nor unadvised nor obstinate. Let not over-refinement deck out thy thought. Be not wordy nor a busybody." By maintaining reasonable boundaries, carefully considering who is deserving of your aid, and helping others without attachment to outcome, you can avoid being taken advantage of while still exercising compassion. Remember, Stoicism is not about passively accepting mistreatment, but wisely navigating the realities of human behavior as you strive to do good in the world. Number 2. Enabling negative behavior. While it is admirable to want to help others, it's crucial to recognize that unconditional assistance may inadvertently encourage or enable destructive habits, addictions, or laziness in some cases. When we consistently provide support without addressing the underlying issues, we may be unintentionally reinforcing negative patterns and preventing the person from taking responsibility for their actions and growth. As Seneca cautioned, "It is not the man who gives me what I do not deserve that does me an injury, but the man who makes me lose my sense of shame in accepting it." By continually rescuing someone from the consequences of their choices, we may hinder their motivation to change and improve their circumstances. Epictetus emphasized the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. He advised, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." While we can offer guidance and support, ultimately, the person must take responsibility for their own life and decisions. Instead of enabling negative behavior through unconditional aid, the Stoics would likely advise us to help in a way that encourages personal accountability and growth. This might involve setting clear boundaries, offering resources for self-improvement, and allowing the person to experience the natural consequences of their actions when appropriate. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By empowering others to develop resilience and self-reliance, we can provide a more meaningful form of assistance that leads to lasting positive change. Remember, true compassion sometimes requires us to have difficult conversations and make tough decisions. It's not about abandoning those in need, but rather helping them in a way that promotes their long-term well-being and personal development. As Stoics, we should strive to balance our desire to help with wisdom and discernment, always keeping in mind the ultimate goal of fostering virtue and resilience in ourselves and others. Number 3. Burnout and self-neglect. While being there for others and offering support is admirable, constantly prioritizing the needs of others over your own well-being can have serious consequences. Many people who are always focused on helping others find themselves feeling emotionally drained, physically exhausted, and stretched too thin. When you pour all your energy into solving other people's problems and being a shoulder to lean on, it's easy to neglect self-care. You may skip meals, lose sleep, stop exercising, and fail to take time to relax and recharge. Over time, this self-neglect takes a toll, leading to chronic stress, anxiety, and even depression. Burnout is a very real risk for those who are always putting others first. Symptoms of burnout include feeling overwhelmed, emotionally numb, and disconnected from the things you once enjoyed. You may start to resent the people you're helping or feel like your efforts are unappreciated. Irritability, mood swings, and difficulty concentrating are also common. The Stoics understood the importance of self-care and the need to set healthy boundaries. Seneca wrote, "All things in moderation, including moderation." Epictetus advised, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In other words, take care of yourself first so that you can be your best self and effectively help others. It's crucial to recognize the signs of burnout and self-neglect before they spiral out of control. Make time for activities that bring you joy and help you relax. Set boundaries and learn to say no when you're feeling overwhelmed. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of your own needs isn't selfish. It's essential for your well-being and your ability to be there for others in the long run. Number 4. Resentment. When we consistently go out of our way to help others, it's natural to want some form of acknowledgement or appreciation in return. We may hope that our kindness will be reciprocated or that the people we assist will be grateful for our efforts. However, when this recognition doesn't come, it can lead to feelings of resentment and bitterness. Resentment often builds gradually over time. At first, we might brush off the lack of appreciation, telling ourselves that we're helping because it's the right thing to do, not for praise. But as we continue to give our time, energy, and resources to others without feeling valued, the seeds of resentment start to take root. We may find ourselves thinking, "After everything I've done for them, this is how they treat me," or "Why do I bother helping when no one ever returns the favor?" These negative thoughts can fester, poisoning our relationships and eroding our desire to help altogether. The Stoics recognized the danger of expecting something in return for our good deeds. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you have done a good act and another has benefited, why do you still look, as fools do, for a third thing besides, credit for good works or a return?" The point is to help others because it aligns with our values and contributes to the greater good, not because we expect recognition or reciprocity. However, the Stoics also emphasized the importance of choosing who we help wisely. Seneca advised, While we should give without expecting anything in return, we should also be careful not to give indiscriminately to those who will never appreciate it. It's okay to set boundaries and prioritize helping those who value our efforts. If you find yourself feeling resentful despite your best intentions, take a step back and examine your motivations. Are you helping because you genuinely want to, or because you feel obligated? Are you taking care of your own needs and well-being, or are you constantly sacrificing yourself for others? Number 5. Guilt and obligation. In our society, there's often an unspoken expectation that we should always be willing to help others, no matter the cost to ourselves. We're taught from a young age that being selfless and putting others' needs before our own is the ultimate virtue. While there's certainly merit in being kind and generous, the pressure to constantly help can become a heavy burden. Many people find themselves saying yes to every request for help, even when they're already stretched thin or don't have the resources to give. They may feel guilty for wanting to prioritize their own needs or for not being able to solve everyone's problems. This sense of obligation can stem from a variety of sources, such as cultural or religious beliefs, family dynamics, or personal experiences. For example, someone who grew up in a household where self-sacrifice was highly valued may feel compelled to always put others first, even at the expense of their own well-being. Or someone who has experienced hardship in the past may feel guilty for having more resources now and feel obligated to help others who are struggling. The Stoics recognized the importance of helping others, but they also emphasized the need for rational decision-making and self-care. Epictetus said, "We should not give beyond our means or when it would cause us harm. The wise person knows their limits and acts accordingly." It's crucial to remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving without taking care of yourself, you'll eventually burn out and have nothing left to give. It's not sustainable or healthy to help others at the cost of your own well-being. Moreover, helping others out of guilt or obligation rarely leads to positive outcomes. When we help because we feel pressured to do so, rather than because we genuinely want to, it can breed resentment and damage relationships. The people we're helping may sense our reluctance or discomfort, which can make them feel like a burden. Instead of letting guilt or obligation drive your decisions, focus on helping others from a place of authentic compassion and care. Set boundaries and learn to say no when necessary. It's okay to prioritize your own needs and take care of yourself first. In fact, by doing so, you'll be better equipped to help others in a meaningful and sustainable way. Number 6. Codependency. One of the potential dark sides of helping others is that it can lead to codependent relationships if taken to an extreme. Codependency occurs when the helper becomes excessively preoccupied with and emotionally dependent on fixing the other person's problems. In these situations, the helper's sense of self-worth and identity becomes unhealthily tied to their ability to save or rescue the other person. They may feel a compulsive need to help, even when their efforts are unappreciated, unreciprocated, or detrimental to their own well-being. The helper often derives feelings of purpose, validation, and esteem from the helping role and may feel lost, anxious, or worthless without someone to help. Meanwhile, the recipient of help can become overly reliant on the helper, failing to develop self-sufficiency and independence. Codependent helping relationships are often imbalanced and dysfunctional. Boundaries become blurred as the helper increasingly neglects their own needs, and the helped person's agency is diminished. It can breed resentment on both sides. The helper feels unappreciated, and the helped person feels infantilized. The Stoics would likely counsel us to be mindful of such dynamics when helping others. Offer guidance and support, but be careful not to help in ways that foster unhealthy dependence or a lopsided relationship. Ensure the helped person maintains autonomy and preserve your own independent identity and self-respect outside of the helping role. Number 7. Interference with personal growth. Another potential pitfall of helping others is that it can inadvertently interfere with their personal development and growth. If we continuously solve other people's problems for them, we may be depriving them of valuable opportunities to cultivate their own problem-solving abilities, coping skills, and self-reliance. When we rush to fix every issue someone else faces, we risk sending the implicit message that we don't trust in their capacity to handle challenges. Over time, this well-intentioned helping can backfire, eroding the other person's confidence and making them less capable of navigating hardships independently. Additionally, struggles and mistakes, while uncomfortable, are often profound teachers. By removing all obstacles from someone's path, we may be limiting their potential for learning, growth, and developing resilience. Dealing with problems builds character and teaches important life skills. If we prevent others from having to solve anything for themselves, we hinder their growth. The Stoics emphasized the importance of cultivating inner strength, wisdom, and self-mastery. They believed that each individual must learn to govern their own mind and navigate the challenges of life. In the words of Seneca, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. This doesn't mean we should callously refuse to help others. Rather, it's about being judicious in how we help. Sometimes the most impactful assistance is not solving the problem for them, but supporting them as they solve it themselves, offering guidance, encouragement, and tools for self-reliance. We must be careful not to clip someone else's wings in our zeal to protect them from hardship. It is a difficult balance to strike, but the Stoic principles of wisdom, reasoned thought, and care for others' overall well-being can guide us. Help others tackle problems, but don't deprive them of chances to grow. As Marcus Aurelius put it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Number 8. Misguided help. One of the dangers in our eagerness to help others is that, without a clear and thorough understanding of their situation, our well-intentioned efforts may be misguided or even detrimental. Good intentions alone do not guarantee good outcomes. We may think we know what's best for someone, but if we don't have a full grasp of their unique circumstances, challenges, values, and desires, our help may be off the mark. What we perceive as helpful may not align with what the person truly needs or wants. In some cases, our unsolicited advice or actions may even undermine their goals or autonomy. For example, if a friend is going through a difficult divorce, we might assume that bad-mouthing their ex-spouse would be supportive. However, if the friend hopes to maintain an amicable co-parenting relationship, our negativity could make things worse. Or if we give a struggling addict money, thinking we're helping, we may inadvertently enable their addiction. The Stoics strongly emphasize the importance of wisdom and reason in guiding our actions. They would advise that before rushing to help, we should first strive to thoroughly understand the situation. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This listening should involve not just hearing the surface details, but truly seeking to understand the other person's perspective and needs. Additionally, the Stoics taught the importance of accepting what is outside our control. Sometimes, in our desire to help, we may overstep and try to control aspects of others' lives that are not our responsibility. We must recognize the limits of our ability to help and respect others' autonomy to make their own decisions, even if we disagree. This doesn't mean we shouldn't try to help others. Compassion and service are key Stoic virtues. However, we must couple our good intentions with wisdom, humility, and respect. Before offering help, we should ask questions, listen deeply, and consider if our help is truly appropriate and desired. Seneca advised, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Similarly, pausing to reflect before jumping to help can prevent misguided efforts. If we are not confident our help will be beneficial, sometimes the most helpful thing is to refrain or to ask the person what they need. Number 9. Sacrificing personal goals. If you pour all your time, energy and resources into solving others' problems, you may find that your own aspirations and self-care start to fall by the wayside. Your career goals, creative pursuits, relationships, health, or personal growth may stagnate or suffer as you continually prioritize others' needs above your own. For example, if you spend every weekend helping a friend with their home renovation project, you may not have time to work on your novel or take that online course to advance your career. If you're always the one your family calls for help, you may struggle to carve out time for exercise, relaxation, or your own social life. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in accordance with reason and virtue, which includes taking care of oneself in order to be of service to others. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If you neglect your own well-being and development in the name of helping, you may ultimately limit your capacity to be of service in the long run. This doesn't mean you shouldn't help others or that your goals should always come first. Rather, it's about finding a sustainable balance and remembering that your own needs and growth matter too. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's necessary for maintaining your ability to help others effectively. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of accepting what is outside our control. Sometimes, in our eagerness to help, we may take on responsibilities that aren't truly ours or try to control outcomes beyond our influence. This can lead to overextension, stress, and burnout. It's important to recognize the limits of what we can reasonably do to help without sacrificing our own well-being and life path. Number 10. Attracting needy individuals. One potential downside to helping others frequently is that it can attract emotionally needy or manipulative individuals into your life. When you establish a pattern of being readily available to help solve other people's problems, it sends a signal that you don't value setting boundaries and are willing to take on more responsibility than is reasonable. This can lead certain people to start taking advantage of your generous spirit. One type of person to watch out for are those who constantly come to you with problems but never seem to make any real progress in resolving their underlying issues. They dump all their emotional baggage on you, but don't put in the work to make meaningful changes in their own life. Dealing with their never-ending stream of crises can start to feel draining over time. Another red flag is if someone redirects conversations to be primarily about themselves and their difficulties, without showing much interest in you as a person or willingness to support you in return. A mutually caring relationship involves give and take, not one person consistently taking while the other gives exhaustively without limit. It's also important to be wary of subtle forms of emotional manipulation. Some people lamenting about their hardships may in reality be covertly trying to elicit feelings of pity or obligation from you to get what they want. They stir up emotions without truly wanting your advice or empowerment, just craving the attention and validation of being helped. The Stoic approach is to help others virtuously, from a place of compassion, but also with wisdom and discernment about where to draw healthy boundaries. Don't let your generosity be taken advantage of in a way that undermines your own well-being and life priorities. Have empathy for those struggling, but don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Maintain self-respect while helping others with respect. Number 11. Feeling overwhelmed. When you have a sincere desire to alleviate the challenges that others face, it's easy to take on more and more responsibility, thinking you're making a positive difference. However, failing to notice your own limits is one of the greatest risks of excessive helpfulness. Stoics advocate living virtuously according to nature. Part of living according to our human nature is acknowledging that we have finite time, energy, and bandwidth to dedicate to helping beyond ourselves. Neglecting to set reasonable boundaries and prioritize self-care can actually undermine our ability to help sustainably over the long run. It's tempting in the moment to take on yet another request for assistance when asked. But rarely do people in need have an accurate view of everything else demanding your time and attention. Gradually shouldering more and more that doesn't fit within the scope of your real capacities can result in a stressed and depleted state of being overwhelmed. When we're constantly stressed, rushed, and stretched too thin, it's easy to slip into an anxious, irritable, or burnt-out mindset. In that condition, the quality of our help diminishes as productivity and compassion suffer. We risk shortchanging both others and ourselves by trying to do more than any one person realistically can. Reflecting regularly on feedback from your mind and body is one way to notice when help-giving is edging into a dysfunctional pattern. Learning to set limits lovingly and delegate responsibilities to appropriate partners are important life skills for sustainable service. Your most ethical and impactful helping honors internal as well as external well-being over the long haul. Prioritizing margin and renewal allows the helper to avoid depletion while maintaining the fortitude to assist during times of true need. With wisdom and restraint, a spirit of service can remain inspiring rather than become demoralizing through overload. As we come to the end of this exploration into the dark side of helping, I hope these 12 Stoic lessons have sparked some valuable insights for you. Remember, setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and helping with wisdom are not selfish. They're essential for sustainable service, but the conversation doesn't have to end here. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences on navigating the challenges of being a helpful person. What resonated with you most from this video? What strategies have you found effective in maintaining balance while making a difference? I invite you to share your reflections and engage with fellow viewers in the comments below. Let's create a space for honest, constructive dialogue about the joys and struggles of being a giver in a complex world. As Stoics, we recognize the power of community and collective wisdom. By learning from and supporting each other, we can all become more skillful in extending our help mindfully and sustainably. So don't be shy. Jump into the discussion, and let's continue this important exploration together. Your unique perspective and experiences are valuable and could be just the insight someone else needs to hear. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, feel free to hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you again for watching, and may you all find peace and serenity in the Stoic ways.